Whenever I say the golf clubs are not getting better every year, somebody always says, oh yeah, well, how about the tour? How about those guys on tour? How come they hit the ball so far? How come they score so low if the golf clubs aren't getting better? And certainly the guys on tour are better. There's no doubt about that. The athletes in every sport are better. Football, baseball, the Olympics, every sport, soccer, they're better. Swimming, they're bigger, stronger, faster. They're just better. And they've learned how to play their respective sports better. When I was growing up, the typical player on the tour, American tour back in the 60s, was American. And a lot of them smoked, a lot of them drank, a lot of them were a bit overweight. But they were fine. They were great players, no doubt about that. But they didn't have swing coaches following them around the world. They didn't have personal trainers following them around, sports psychologists, nutritionists, his entourage following them around the world. It was different back then. Today, the money has gotten so big that players from all over the world are just learning to become amazingly talented players and coming to the tour, the American tour, qualifying and winning on tour. The competition has become brutal. It's not because of the equipment. They just are so good. The tour player, there's only so many players every year that get to keep their card on tour. You had to become better. Otherwise, you would lose your employment. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Tour players had to learn to score lower. Now, the typical golfer, the typical 18 handicapper, he doesn't have that problem. If one day his employer called him into the office and said, "Hey, I know you're an 18 handicap. You've been that way for the last 10 years, but if next year at this time you're not a 15, we're going to have to let you go. I'm sorry." Well, if that happened, I guarantee you the typical 18 handicapper would learn how to become a 15. He would move past his equipment, and he would just learn how to become a better golfer. And he would be. The following year, he would do whatever it took, and he'd be a 15, he'd probably be a 13. And that's the difference. The touring pros had to become better, and the typical golfer didn't. It has nothing to do with their equipment. The typical golfer doesn't have to improve, so he'll just keep buying new golf clubs every couple of years and always be an 18 handicapper.